My wife's family tried to pay me to disappear at our 5-year anniversary dinner. And the worst part? She didn't stop them. The restaurant was elegant. Soft lighting, the faint clink of crystal glasses, conversations that sounded expensive but meant nothing. The kind of place where powerful people make quiet decisions and where lives can change without anyone ever raising their voice. It was supposed to be a celebration. Just me, my wife Isabella, and her parents. But from the moment we sat down, something felt wrong. Heavy. Like everyone at that table already knew the ending. Except me. We barely touched our food. Then her father reached into his jacket and slid a thick, cream-colored envelope across the table. Slowly, deliberately, like he was handing over something unpleasant. "Julian," he said calmly, almost kindly, "we need to talk about the future." Isabella didn't look at me. She just stared at her wine, slowly swirling the glass. "You're a good man," he continued. "Quiet. Loyal. But you're not built for Isabella's world." A small smile, controlled, surgical. "She's being considered for global VP. Her image matters now more than ever. And having someone like you attached to her is becoming a liability." He tapped the envelope once. "Inside is a very generous settlement. Enough for you to start over somewhere else. Quietly. No mess. No headlines." In that moment, I didn't feel anger. I just felt erased. Like I had been slowly disappearing from my own life, and only now realized it. I looked at Isabella, waiting, hoping for even one word of resistance. She finally spoke, soft, careful, almost gentle. "Julian, it's for the best." And that was it. Not loud betrayal, not screaming or tears, just quiet agreement. Like I was a problem that needed to be solved. I remembered the night I proposed to her, 4 years earlier. We were sitting on the old wooden dock behind my parents' lake house. The moon was full, and she laughed when I got down on one knee because my hands were shaking so badly. She said yes before I even finished the sentence. That night, she whispered, "I don't need a big life, Julian. I just need you." I believed her. But somewhere along the way, that promise quietly faded. I remembered our second anniversary. How she used to rest her head on my shoulder in the car and say, "You keep me grounded. Don't ever change." Now those same words had become weapons. What they didn't know was that I had already built something far bigger than they could imagine. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't even touch the envelope. "I'll think about it." I folded my napkin neatly, placed it on the table, stood up, and walked out into the pouring rain. That was the last time they ever saw the man they thought I was. Years before I met Isabella, I had quietly bought a failing logistics software company. No press, no announcements, no spotlight. I rebuilt it piece by piece through layered trusts, shell companies, and careful anonymity. My name never appeared anywhere. I let others take the credit, the interviews, the glory. I preferred the shadows. Because my father once told me, the loudest man in the room is usually the one with the least to offer. And somewhere along the way, I made a terrible mistake. I thought if I stayed small enough, love would feel safe. So while she kept climbing higher, I kept shrinking. Year by year, I remembered the night of her big promotion party. I stood in the corner while she introduced me as my husband, Julian. He's in tech too. But when people asked what I actually did, she changed the subject. That night, driving home, she was quiet. I asked if everything was okay. She just said, "Sometimes I wish you were more visible." That sentence stayed with me for months. 2 weeks before that dinner, I saw the email from her mother. Cold, precise, calculated. "We need to handle this before the board notices. He's affecting her image." It wasn't frustration, it was a plan. That's when something inside me changed. Not with shouting, not with drama, just quietly. I stopped trying to be chosen and started seeing everything clearly. The next morning, I walked into the executive floor of the company I secretly owned, and I quietly expanded an internal audit that had already been running in the background. Not for revenge, just for truth. That was enough. The audit uncovered everything. Misuse of company funds, conflicts of interest, private messages that should never have left her personal phone. By the end of that same day, the board made their decision. Isabella was removed from her fast-track position, effective immediately. Not because I destroyed her, but because she had destroyed her own credibility. That afternoon, her father called, his voice shaking with rage. "Do you have any idea what you've done to my daughter?" I answered softly, "This isn't about what I've done." A pause. "It's about what you tried to do and what she allowed." Weeks later, Isabella asked to see me one last time. No audience, no performance. Just the two of us in a quiet hotel lounge. She looked different. Not weaker, just real. For the first time in years. She asked the question that had clearly been haunting her. "Julian, when did you stop loving me?" I looked at her for a long moment, and then I told her the truth. "The moment you sat there and let them put a price on me, without saying a single word in my defense." I stood up, left money on the table, and walked away. No shouting, no final speech, no dramatic closure. Just silence. And this time, I didn't disappear. Looking back now, I understand something I wish I had learned much earlier. You don't lose yourself all at once. You lose yourself slowly, in small compromises, in quiet acceptance, in the moments you choose to stay silent when you should have spoken up, in the years you shrink yourself to make someone else feel bigger. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is stop explaining your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. If you've ever felt invisible, in your own relationship, in your own home, in your own life, listen to me. Your silence is not weakness. It can be the moment you finally choose yourself. It can be the beginning of your power. It can be the quiet line you draw in the sand, and the first step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Never shrink to fit someone else's vision of you. Never let anyone put a price on your presence or your absence. Because the moment you stop begging to be seen is the moment you finally start seeing yourself clearly. And that is where your real comeback begins. Thank you for listening. See you in the next one.